What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of AOS Trash Pandas with Rob and Carson. We've got a very special guest today, possibly our most esteemed guest ever, more than Vince Venturella, possibly, because
the most accomplished for sure.
I've never heard of anyone going 4-1 with Spiderfang Grotz at a tournament that has more than 6 people. We've got Conan. I should have asked you this ahead of time. Is it Veitch?
Veitch.
Damn it. So close. Conan Veitch. So welcome. Welcome to AOS Trash Pandas. So we've got we're gonna be talking about spiders, and we're gonna be talking about goblins and how they mix well, how they taste good with shiitake, and how they're just the true way to play Gloomspite Gitz. But first, we do have a couple of pieces of news. I haven't gone over any of this with you. We were just chatting the whole time beforehand. So we got a rumor engine. Did you guys get a chance to see this today?
No.
It's
I've been at work all day.
So it is here. I can copy and paste it. I can send it to you. There's it's like a bony, it's like clearly like some kind of death wing, right? Related wing. Do you have a guess for this while I send it to Conan, Carson?
Yeah, this is clearly Flesh Eater Quartz of some kind.
Right.
We're gonna see a bunch of reveals tomorrow, I think, for Flesh Eater Quartz, because I think they're we know their book is on the horizon in the winter, and this looks like Vargolf or something, it's clearly a Flesh Eater Quartz winged creature of some kind. They're gearing up for it, 100%.
Conan's shaking his head.
It's clearly a Chaos Dwarf.
A Chaos Dwarf.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
I hadn't thought of that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Idiot,
that's
Carson. Idiot.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's okay, Carson. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
We'll get out later.
Which part of the Chaos Dwarf is this?
That's a Lamassu wing.
A Lamassu wing. I was gonna say a new form of winged bull centaur. Or wait, what was that guy's name? The named character?
Drazov or the...
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Drazov, yeah.
Yeah. The guy riding the giant winged bull thing.
If I keep guessing this, and eventually I'm going to be right.
Yeah. So my first thought, I knew that Flesh Eater Quartz is coming out soon. My first thought is, the Soulblight Gravelord's battle tome? There's like a blood dragon on the front of there that we never saw. He doesn't look anything like a Terragite, that whole kit, right? But this looks way smaller than that. So I think you're right. It has to be that. But Carson, you just said you think that they're going to announce the Flesh Eater Quartz tomorrow. That's a pretty bold statement.
I think we're going to see some Flesh Eater Quartz tomorrow. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be? Go ahead.
No, that was it. I just finishing my thought of some kind. Go ahead.
Do you think they're going to do the actual redo ghouls?
I don't think they're going to redo the ghouls.
Yeah.
I think that Flesh Eater Quartz are going to get a lot of stuff in addition.
Okay.
I think we're going to see the Summer King, and I think that maybe if there's anything that's resin. I think we talked about this a while ago. There's that one model that Rob called out that's probably likely to be replaced. Vargolf or something?
Vargolf is resin, so that seems... But the Vargolf isn't very bony. So...
Yeah.
I'm
not saying this is it.
No, got it. I see.
Yeah,
right.
I'm saying that we're going to see that in the new FEC. I think there's going to be... It's going to be like a medium-sized release, I would think, with a big centerpiece.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good call.
But not a revamp.
Not a revamp? Yeah. Get it? Revamp? Because they used to be vampires? Hey! We got jokes. Thumbs down if you didn't like that joke. It's all interaction.
My source for all of this is, dude, trust me. Just trust me, bro. Yeah.
Yep. That's solid. So yeah, I'm thinking that I'm hoping that the Vargolf gets a dual kit. It's and maybe this is the other half of that. Some kind of I don't know, bony winged monster of some kind. I don't know.
I don't remember any of the Well, mind you, I guess they could change the aesthetic, but I don't remember any of the current Flesh Eater stuff being quite so raggedy bony.
That's true. My only pushback for that is that, or Terrorgeist.
Terrorgeist,
Yeah.
yes.
But my only pushback for that is all those kits are just Strigoi, right? So like we never like they took. I was telling Carson they took Vargeist and what are they called? Crypt Horrors, and they just literally took those kits and just mixed them together, and they made a new thing called Crypt Flares. Yeah. So I could see it. Like the most bony thing I can think of other than them is probably what you call it, the Crypt Horrors themselves, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm down for it all. I don't care.
Whenever it's confusing like this, it always ends up screwing us with some sort of Underworld's band. Or,
that's true.
Warcry thing.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But we know it's death. So like, what if it's not that? Then what is it? Like a new. You know, would be cool. Remember that vampire that had like one wing transforming?
The wing up like this. And it's
yeah. Like that would be cool, but I don't know. My main surprise is like, so I think we're obviously going to get Flesh Eater Courts relatively soon, but there's like Iron Jaws rumored to be coming out, and we've seen Megapig. Like we saw Megapig so long ago now that I'm wondering if we're going to see the Iron Jaws announced at LVO with the rumored revamp on the what are they called? The battle line.
I think they'll wait that long.
Ard Boys. Well, I was thinking they're going to announce it tomorrow, and then like the orc like mini revamp thing is coming like with like a new book possibly like in the next little while, or if not that, maybe it's just like they're doing what they did with FEC where they just kind of rewrite stuff in a preliminary kind of phase, and then I don't know. I'm excited for it either way. I don't think I'm going to get back into Flesh Eater Courts, but I am like excited to have them expanding that range and whatnot. Cool. And then there was like a couple of like, 40K things like they announced the Tyranid Codex. Like I know we don't normally do that, but like that's crazy. It was so much earlier. Like they said fall, and it's coming out before fall even happens. And they showed the Norn Emissary, and like, oh man, it's just so freaking cool. So that's
why I think.
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say that's why I think we're going to see Flesh Eater Courts like actual official reveals sometime soon, because they said Cities of Sigmar is going to be in the fall as well.
Right.
And like the box for it came out in the summer essentially.
Right.
Did they
and
get
even
pushed
though the
back?
Sorry?
Like weren't Cities supposed to come out in the summer? Or
like
did I
originally before all the like delays and stuff like that?
I thought last year they said that we're going to go.
Actually, I think you're right. We were gonna get Seraphon and another release in the summer, and then I think that's right.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Roadmap though showed cities in the fall, but they still kind of made it summer-ish, which makes me think they're going to try and do the same thing with FEC, where it's like maybe the actual book will be released like in the winter, but maybe they'll do an army box just like they've been doing for like Slaves to Darkness, Seraphon, Cities of Sigmar. Like everybody's been getting a box this year, so
yeah, it's been awesome. What a freaking golden age we've had. The only thing we're missing is Skaven, and I'm actually okay with it now, just because like they've got to be the 4th edition box, right? Like they have to be. Like
copium.
I'm full of copium. It's my jam. I mean, like Skaven are the reason I got back into wargaming. If they had existed in Total War, I wouldn't even be here. Anyway, whatever, man.
Acolytes are older than a lot of the players in town.
Yes. Yeah, they're 30 now, and I think Skrulk is 31. Skrulk holds up. The Acolytes do not. I've got 10 metal Acolytes, and I could kill a man with like 2 of them. Just put them in a sock, and away you go, and then there's
brawl with them.
Exactly. Yeah, you could easily kill someone with those things. And then we've got the Nova preview, which we were talking about earlier. It's happening tomorrow. Is it happening? It's happening in the evening, right? Like, I forgot to look it up.
I'm not sure.
Check.
What I do know though is that this squig is Josuke Joestar. from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like 100%.
With his like
like
pompadour
this-
haircut thing.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
a little menacing. I think someone actually made that edit and put it on the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I used to read this manga when I was in high school in Japan, and it was called Shonan Junaigumi, and it later became GTO. A lot of people will know GTO, but before that, it was like a manga about like these junior high school kids who were like terrible, like what do they call them, like over here, like they're bad boys. That sounds really weird. I don't know.
I don't.
Like they're like
No, I'm taking bad
delinquents.
boys.
Delinquents.
I'm
That's
taking
the word
bad
I could
boys.
come
Bad
up with.
boys.
Fudio,
They gotta be
Fudio
punished.
Yankee.
Bad boys.
Yeah, they call him Yankee over there, like Yankee. I don't know why. It means like delinquent or something like that.
He means delinquent over there.
Yeah, Yankee.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the dudes with the sweet pompadour?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They ride motorcycles and stuff like that, and yeah, man, it's such a great. The anime GTO was great, but I liked the original better. Anyway, so it says 2 a.m. BST, which I think is like Britain time, right? I think.
Right now it's 3:13 a.m. BST. So 1 hour ago. So 6
Okay,
p.m.
6 p.m. That's
PST.
what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure because I think they're 8 hours ahead, so I think that works perfect.
I looked up what is BST and immediately got bit in the ass for it.
You're like, gross.
So the WGS says that the anvil squig isn't for Gitz. What is it for?
It's for Oryx, which is horseshit.
What?
I know.
That
What?
is
That doesn't make any sense.
what?
If that fucking thing, if that thing isn't an 80mm base and it's not a brand new squig for us, we riot.
Oh my gosh. Though to be fair, I guess it used to be orcs like greenskins, and then I agree with you. I don't disagree with you, Conan. Okay, I don't disagree with you. But like I do. Okay, my favorite thing. I'm not really an orc guy, right? I've always been more of a goblin guy, but my one pushback that makes me like orcs is what do they call them? Hair squigs. I think those things are amazing. Like I want to get like a hair squig made up, so I can have like beautiful, majestic hair like Conan here, right? And then it's just got like teeth on it.
Feathered like the wings of a bird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is like an evolution or a de-evolution. Okay. Oryx Anvil? I mean, I kind of like that idea though, that culture, right? Anyway, so God. So look out for that that wonderful preview coming up. It's got the old world on here too. Don't join like an old world like Facebook group. That's my main recommendation. But like if you're into old Rank and Flank, then that's something to look forward to, I think. There was a rumor that we've heard that there's going to be a Battle Force box for Tomb Kings in Bretonia coming out in November. So that'd be pretty wild. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Cool. Okay. I think we've gotten all the news out of the way.
So excited.
So, okay, darn it. Now we've got Inception going on. I did not plan this out very well. Where is my so that goes away. Okay, so first we're going to bring up the pictures of your beautiful army here. I didn't hear who won Best Painted. I was like just assuming it was you. Like the warp dice.
What? Oh,
Okay,
for
yes. Sorry. So
okay.
so
Yeah.
there was a tournament in Prince George, which is a city in some would say northern British Columbia. Like I think of it as like the middle of British
We are
Columbia.
technically in northern British Columbia because we are above 50%.
Okay, cool. I think of it as the middle, but like
We are in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there was a tournament in Prince George called Northern Waste, which we talked about on last week's podcast. It went off really well. I asked Matthias and you to both come on the podcast, and then you both said yes, much to my surprise. So Matthias is going to be on next week. He's going to be
Where is he?
Yeah, he's going to be talking about.
He's showing to me right now.
He's going to be talking about Korn next week. So look forward to that, everyone. But but you have a teaching schedule to go back to, and so this was the best week for you. And so long story short, our local group actually did really well. Matthias, who a lot of everyone knows from the podcast and the channel, he got best general, went 5-0, and I think he fought you in grand finals, right?
Yeah.
Top table. And then Dale won best overall?
Dale won overall.
Right? And I was expecting it to be you again. I was like, surely it's the Gitz player who has an amazingly well-painted army and went to top table. And then they're like, Dale. I'm like, okay, well, Dale's cool and he's my friend. But I was still expecting it to be you.
I had recused from awards given that I am organized in the thing. However,
right on.
With that in mind, I was never, we didn't have to.
Cool. Right
so
on.
I didn't put my stuff down for painting at all, just because that's dumb and weird. Plus I couldn't have won if I wanted to. The Snarflings weren't finished yet.
Oh, right on.
So it wouldn't have mattered there.
You got a beautifully painted army, though. Really nice, yeah. And it's so different. And Dale, yeah, I'm teasing Dale, of course. He was on the podcast for ages with me, so I got to throw some shade at him when I can. And he's a big fan of Gitz. He was playing Gitz as his main army. He switched back to Daughters of Cain because he's a hipster and he doesn't want to play what's popular. But you went another way. Yeah. Yeah, is he though? Yeah, exactly. I mean, a true hipster would be playing Spiderfang. I agree. And then Kenrick, who's also been on the channel, he won best sports.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear who won because they only tell me like if our local group won. They're just like, and I kept asking like who won best painted and nothing. So I didn't hear who won best painted.
Sec. Sorry.
There's so many beautiful paint jobs. Like Darren took his Sylvanet there, gorgeously painted. Eric took his Seraphon, which are immaculately painted as always. Like his yellows are just stunning. But I don't even know what army won best painted.
So I don't want to screw this up because I've just asked Grayson who won best painted.
Cool.
Because I remember giving the award out, but by the time I had given the awards out, I had been it was a long weekend.
Yeah. That's fair. So Kenrick took videos of the awards, but he didn't take two of them. One was painted because I'm assuming because none of our local teammates won that one, and the other one was best sportsman, which he got himself, so he couldn't take a video of himself. Or I mean, he could have, but I get it.
The painted is the only one because there was it was close, so it was kind of up in the air a little bit. So that's why there's two ones I just don't want to say which one because I don't want to screw that up.
Yeah, that's
Daryl Martins won because we had a bunch of different competitions too.
Right.
We also had display board, which Daryl Martins won, which was incredible. And one of our guys, Raymond Clayton, with his company that I wish I could remember the name of right now. Anybody's interested, just hit me up after. I can send the thing to you.
Heck yeah.
3D printed a ton of terrain for it that was just gorgeous. And that was the award for winning that one.
Wow.
There was the Golden Tree Man that Justin Ettinger put on, and that was a fantastic run. And there was a bunch of winners in that one.
Yeah, Alex won the bingo.
Yep.
And Eric won something. He won like some kind of trophy, but I don't remember.
The Golden Tree Man. It's
okay.
You know what PG is?
What's that?
Are you aware of Mr. PG?
Yeah, Mr. Prince George. Yeah. The big
the anthropomorphic collection of logs.
Yeah.
So Desmond Ing, who does all of the art for everything for Northern Wastes, and everything involved in Northern Wastes. Justin had somebody sculpt the Mr. PG in a Chaos helmet with a paintbrush for that. So that trophy is Mr. PG. It's Chaos Mr. PG with a paintbrush.
Right.
So,
I don't know why I didn't recognize it instantly. I mean, it was gold in my.
You don't know why you didn't recognize Mr. PG?
Yes.
Rob's a big fan.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I've been there. I've seen him like a bunch of times. Like I've seen that guy in real life. I heard they're getting rid of him or something.
No, you can't get rid of Mr. PG.
I
You
hope
can't kill
not.
him.
I hope not. That's something I heard.
If you take one down, 2 more will arise
in
its place.
Take its place, yeah. Oh man. So, and Keith says he had heart issues when he joined the old world fantasy groups, and he avoids them now. Yeah, that's a good call, because yeah. Anyway, so yeah, beautifully painted army. I'll put it on in the background. Could you tell us about your list?
I can. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot. Okay. Nicole won Best Painted.
Nicole. Okay. I don't know Nicole.
Nicole Obert. Dayton and Nicole.
Oh, okay. Vernon. Oh, awesome. What army was she playing? I don't think I even saw her.
Oh God. I want to say Fish, but I don't know if that's
IDK?
actually true. I know she plays Fish.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know
IDK
if
is
that's
such a
when she
great
ran.
hobby army. Oh man.
God, I don't remember.
I would love
sorry,
to
Nicole.
see it. I would, and I, yeah, I would. I'd love to have her on to talk about IDK at some point.
In my defense, it was the bar was open for a very long time.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Well, congrats to Nicole.
I remember being very pumped, and her army looked amazing. So
that's fair. I will allow her to be the winner over all those amazing other entries because it's IDK. So how could it not be amazing? Okay, so your army is almost entirely Spiderfang.
yeah.
Yeah, so you want to walk so we did talk about your list on there, and I almost felt bad because I was like, this poor Spiderfang player, I feel like we should just keep this a secret. Like, give him every advantage he can have. You know what I mean? Like, some points went down for like some of the big spiders, but like, oh my God, like this is
Sylvaneth. She played Sylvaneth. That's in my brain.
Oh,
Sylvaneth.
okay, cool.
Sorry. Okay, we're back now.
Nice, awesome.
Just sparked memories.
No
Yeah, the
worries.
spiders. Do you want me to just run through the list really
Sure,
quick?
yeah. I
Okay.
have it. I had it last week, but like we can just talk about it.
I might miss something here and there, but the gist was a Ragnarok Shaman General with super venom. So I saw a couple people. I keep getting sent messages from people telling me about people talking about the list.
Oh yeah. I heard it was on Honest Wargamer as well.
Grayson had sent me that this morning, I think, and they lost their minds. So I've yet to see anybody get super venom right yet, though. Super venom doubles the mortals that he does.
Yes.
So basically, that means that every 6 rolled by the big guy is 6 mortals. So it terrorgeists them.
Yeah.
But it's also one of the only things in the game that works under the moon as well.
Right. Yeah.
Because all the other bonuses are strictly on 6s. So yeah,
Indeed.
he's there. He's not designed for combat, but he can do combat if he needs to because he has that.
Because it's like
he's
what
got a
is it like
-1.
3 attacks on the bite?
All the Ragnaroks got 4.
4. Cool.
Yeah.
They used to be 3, right?
Yes.
Right. I think so. I was
I
playing
think so.
them with Carson before on the channel.
I was 2, but it's been a while. I think it was 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4. So like if you're doing it on 5s, then you're averaging like 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But
sometimes it's nothing to hope for, but if it does, then great. And it also kind of scares people away a little bit. So
absolutely.
He's got the -1 hit aura spell. Itchy nuisance. I think it's itchy nuisance.
Yep.
He is hanging out with a scuttle boss with the totem, so that just gives a big old aura of +1 mortals on 6s. I had 2 shamans. I had a Spiderfang shaman, and I had a just a standard Gloomcap shaman. And they were there just to be extra spells and the +1 hit item and +1 hit for every dispel you do was on the Madcap, which had Hoarfrost.
Nice.
We'll get to that in a sec.
Nice.
The little shaman, the Spiderfang shaman, had the skittering. I forget the name of the spell, to be honest. It's the one where I get to move a spider unit 10 inches.
Right.
Or move a spider unit, which is 10 inches across the board. So,
Nice.
but it's in the hero phase, which means I can start doing things like avoiding redeploy and shenanigans like that. Moving onward, we had 20 shooters because shooters are great.
That's amazing.
We had.
I haven't seen anyone play with them either.
It is a cheap 20 models.
Yeah.
It's 120 points for 20 guys.
And they have the -1 to hit as well in combat, right?
Yeah. Normally I run just one net in there, so I get more shots out. But I had to, unfortunately, I didn't finish mine, so I had to borrow some painted ones for the tournament
Right.
from Josh. So 3 nets is what I had to run for that. Yeah, so they're in there for a variety of reasons, which we'll get to. Gobapalooza, which, surprise. Sneaky Snufflers, 15 Spider Riders, which...
in one unit, which is cool, because
unit.
then you get 8 of them back if you recycle.
See, you're the only person I've seen that's actually said that, but that's actually one of the big things about that unit.
Like, wait, I don't get. Wait, what do you mean? Like, no one noticed that? Like, if you take them in odds, or if you double reinforce, then you.
It's more that whenever I see anybody talk about them, nobody talks that 8 of them come back. You effectively get a full 10-man unit of spiders back, which is wild.
And they're just an amazing screen.
They're a good screen. They ignore terrain. Like the whole army, almost the entire army ignores terrain. So I just ignore what I need to know.
Right.
And I'm very mobile.
Yeah, other than the Shootas and the Snarlfang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Snarlfang are fast enough anyways.
And I guess Gobapalooza.
And they're speed 5, so they're not going anywhere.
And so Gobapalooza is obviously really good, but like what part of the amazing different things that Gobapalooza can do? Like, are you giving extra rend out? Are you...
If I screw up Hoarfrost on... So I guess we'll finish the list and then we'll go to that part.
Cool.
Just for context for anybody listening.
Please.
There's 15 Spider Riders. There's Snufflers, Gobapalooza. There is a Ragnarok War Party, which is Battle Line.
Yeah.
And there is 10 Snarlfang, so a reinforced unit of Snarlfang Riders.
That's crazy.
Sick.
I've never seen anyone take that either. Like, I love it.
So why are they bad?
No, I'm not saying they're bad.
But why do people say they're bad?
I think the main thing was you can get like the same thing for cheaper elsewhere.
So the only real excuse I've seen is that squigs are better, and I guess that's technically true across the board. But if you don't want to play with squigs necessarily, then you're not left with many options.
No. Not wrong.
The Snarlfang are an incredible unit that has no rend, which sucks. That's their problem. They redeploy, they reroll redeploys, they shoot after the redeploy, which is whatever.
Yeah.
But the option is still there. They pile in 6 inches. They get +1 to charge. They pile in 6 inches within 6 inches, which is fantastic. So that means that if you auto run them 6, they have a 24-inch threat, and they have 2-inch reach on the bites. Like they're wild. They're a wild unit that just sucks because they have no rend. But we have Warfrost, and if that screws up, you have Gobapalooza to kind of maybe balance things out a little bit.
That's very interesting. Okay, so you take a reinforced unit of 10 Wolf Boys, and then
every one of them can attack. It's
their movement is 12?
12-inch.
12 inches, and then if you auto run them 6.
If you have to.
Yeah, if you have to. So then that gets them 18 inches, and so then if they can get a toe in at 6 inches out, then they can just move in. They don't even have to charge.
But they also don't have to within half inch either.
They don't have to what?
They don't have to end within half inch, right? Because
no, exactly.
We're just in.
Well, and also like you can avoid like Unleash Hell and all sorts of other stuff. Huh.
So like there's a ton of weird tech with them, and that's, to be super honest, that's the list. It's weird, shitty tech. The game.
Yeah, fair. It's like it's the very like idea of off meta
Well, it has an answer for everything. It's just that answer is fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just a weird answer to everything.
huh. Okay.
It's I don't want to make it sound like it doesn't have an incredible, it doesn't hard counter or anything. It's a bunch of spiders and a bunch of wolves. Oh, Rippa Snarlfangs are in there too.
Right. The old warband that you like can't find no matter what anymore.
Yeah, it's wild that they're still in the book. So
yeah, that was interesting. I mean, they did that with the Skaven one too. You haven't been able to buy the original Skaven warband from like 2017 or whatever, the original 6 that came out for Underworlds for a long time, but they're still in there. Okay, that's cool.
It's just a lot of weird tech, and the way I play the game is very often very reactive. I think I have 13 drops, 12 drops. Like you're choosing what you want to do. You're either going. I mean,
right
I can't
on.
think of another army that was even there this weekend that had more drops than me.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my Skaven was around there, but like, yeah.
Yeah, it was close, but I think 12 either tied me or fewer.
Wow.
So at that point, I don't have to worry about that. I know what you're doing. You're like, I know I don't get the option, so I deploy as if I don't have the option every time. So that takes some stress off me there.
For sure. And then you can also just like, you get to see what they're doing. Like there are huge advantages, you know.
Yeah.
If you know you're not going to like get to choose no matter what, then it's like you might as well like extend it and make it as many drops as possible.
My grand strat was chasing the moon. That might be wrong. It's the one where I got to be under the moon 3 turns, then
for your general, right?
The general has to survive by the end. So he's starting under the moon, so he starts near the shrine.
Right.
That's 1 drop. Snufflers are going somewhere very forward because they can't move. That's 2 drop. I got a bunch of shaman. That's 4 drop. Like by the time I've got 5 drops down, I've showed nothing, and their army's usually down, so I can kind of go from there.
That's so awesome, Carson. At this point, do you have any questions at all? Like I feel like I've been.
No, I'm just listening in. This is Gitz player to Gitz player at this moment. I'm just a humble ogre.
You
sitting
have
here listening.
Ogres, yes.
You've played against Spiderfang more than most people in the area, though.
Maybe the world.
Although you haven't played them in the new book. You only played them against my old book. Yeah, and they were much worse then. So
I'm always a fan of like anytime someone uses something unconventional to really get by, especially like you said, you have a weird answer to every situation. I love that sort of thing. Like I personally don't build my ogres like monster trucks or like all iron blasters or anything. I build it like it's like a mixture of foot ogres, 1 iron blaster, and 1 stone horde. Like it's very I try to like match every situation that I can. And I always really appreciate when other players do that too, because then it doesn't feel like you're just playing rock, paper, scissors. You're playing the game, right? So
absolutely. And you've been doing really well. Like you're bringing up those ogre win numbers, Carson. And what's interesting too is like, I didn't realize, I thought everyone was playing Meat Fist, and I was talking to Eric. We did a practice game in prep for Northern Wastes, and he was just like no one's taking Meat Fist or whatever. And then I was like, really? I thought everyone was taking Meat Fist. Like it's freaking awesome, you know? Because we were talking about like having like counters and like worried about that kind of thing. And I was like, well, you know, like everyone's probably playing Meat Fist. Like you got to think about that. And he's like, no one's playing Meat Fist. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, like someone put up the numbers in the chat, and like Carson's the only one playing that list and Meat Fist. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And he's killing it too. Okay. Anyway, that's a great call though. So okay, Okay, so first of all, your faction was King's Gitz?
Yeah,
because you don't have a
I don't have a Skittershred.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like there's no point.
I could just go without a sub faction, but I don't have a Skittershred. The list before this version of the list had a Skittershred in it, but I didn't have the wolves. The Snarlfang. So I was going pretty often with Skitterstrand because I could drop a couple different. I could drop the War Party with the Skitterstrand and drop off it. He counts as 10 models, so he can grab an objective usually pretty easily off something.
Wow. Huh.
I think a lot of people look at the army and expect the monsters to do the work, and they don't. They're garbage.
Yeah. Yep.
So you just take your Skitterstrands, and I mean they've got a ton of terrible attacks.
Yep.
So you just
you could get insanely lucky, but
yeah, I mean they got a bunch of hitting on 4, wounding on 3 kickies, and they got some bites that could do some damage and some grots, I guess. But it's enough to take down support. It's enough to take down little units here and there. But realistically, 10 models and they ignore terrain, so they just zoom forward 16 inches if they need to start grabbing things. Or I can use that spell I can't remember the name of. I can use the movement spell to jam it 26 inches if I have to, and it just gets in the way, and it's a 6-inch base, so
a lot of wounds. You know? Yeah.
There's 4+ save, so it's not it dies if you look at it with anything useful, but
it's like the hell.
But it's just
yeah.
What I've learned over 20-something years of playing this game is that garbage wins if you have enough garbage.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's like a price point where things just tip over and it becomes like almost like OP. You know, like I saw a list in AOS 1 before Skaven even had a book, and someone ran like 300 clan rats in a game, and they just no one could shoot through it, and they just won a whole tournament because they just pushed everything forward, and they had a gray seer at the center, and they used to have an artifact or a command trait where they wouldn't run away on a 4-up. Yeah. And like I ran that, but I didn't run that. I just don't have my back. It just can't handle 300 clan rats. Like 160 is where I draw the line, generally speaking, nowadays, until we get movement trays back.
A nice calm 160.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, okay. So maybe before, like, you haven't answered everything. You say you were reactive, right? But like, what's the game plan? Like, how does this list win? Like, I'm assuming it's in the movement phase. It's all movement.
Every game's one of the movement phase. That's just
yeah, that's true. And I was trying to like correct, but like I'm assuming
like you're right. Like it's very good at it.
Exactly.
It's terrible in combat for the most part. I've got 10 fanatics. Sorry, that I already saw. I also have 10 fanatics, which do a little bit of carrying.
They can like the game that I put up today, like poor Danny's fanatics did nothing.
They can screw up for sure.
I mean, I did have a Troglodyte, to be fair, and -1 to hit on them is crazy good, especially if you roar them so they're hitting on 5s, and it's just like, okay, nothing happened again, and then there's -1 damage and blah blah blah. But like still,
if we have time after this, ask me how the game with Matthias went.
Yeah.
Because there's some stuff I forgot.
Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah. About corn, I assume.
Yeah.
Right
Conan
on.
was
I mean, Matthias is a very strong player too.
Oh, he's an incredible player.
Yeah.
Incredible player. And it's I made some very big mistakes turn 1 right out of the gate. I chose an incorrect battle tactic, and I chose an okay battle tactic, but then failed to snuffle, and then decided I was going to go for it anyways. I should have just eaten the 2 points and said screw it and kept back.
Right. That's
what happened there.
Me.
I'm not sure. I think pictures are floating around from Josh of how the game turn 1 look, and you look at it, and there's like Snarlfang right in the middle, and there's Spider Riders way on the right hand side, and none of that should have happened. And he knew it. I mean, Matthias knew that, and I knew that, and it was there, and I basically set him up for the world's greatest turn if he doubled, and he did. So it's just he capitalized really, really well, and he's an incredible player. Not as many people would capitalize that well. So
yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like you know, the game is kind of about like trying to like give your opponent, you know, bad decisions or like hard decisions to make, and then capitalizing on mistakes. So if you want to feel better, watch the game with Matthias. He plays Slaves to Darkness, and he puts Bellicor like too close to his screen, and my eels just go in and kill him top of one. So yeah, that's up on the channel. It's like a couple games ago, so you want to feel better. Anyway, so thanks again, Matthias, for coming on. We really appreciate you. Okay, so. But like so that was the final game. You're playing on top table against Khorne, which is like arguably, you know, the best army right now, or one of them. But until then, you were winning all your games. So like, who did you go up against first?
First was Nurgle, and it was Glotkin and Great Unclean One.
That one.
Flag Bears. It was very... So Nathan has a very slow army. It has the fat guy that can bring guys with him, which I forget the name of. Spew something.
Spew Rot Spawn.
Spew Rot Gross, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. He had both of them though. He had one and then the other, right?
And that was one danger, is that it's I don't like getting penned in like that, so I spread a lot of stuff out. And if you snuffle the spiders, or if you snuffle anything, 5+ word save carries you a good amount, as long as you're not putting them into something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, I kind of managed to jam Nathan out a little bit, and just Nurgle's slow. It's real hard to catch spiders and Snarlfang and anything else with Nurgle, especially if you have close to 1,000 points stuffed into Great and Clean One and
did he have the Glotkin as well?
Glotkin, that's the
right. So
this just a ton of points. And
so then you just stayed outside of the range where he can countercharge you.
I just put garbage in the way because he couldn't get through it. Like, he could kill it. He killed it instantly, but it just only so often. I mean,
yeah. In this particular case, you know,
one thing that I haven't seen a single person mention yet. I've got -2 to hit in a 12-inch aura. -3 if you got the grots in there, but the Puff Shroom spell on the Gobapalooza.
Yeah, the fungoid.
The fungal cloud.
Cloud, that's it. Yeah.
Fungal cloud plus the itchy nuisance, or not itchy nuisance. That's the strike last spell.
It's on the thing right now.
Curse of Spider God is the garbagey one.
Is it Sneaky Distraction?
Yes.
So 12-inch range, cast on a 7, subtract 1 from hit rolls.
So it's because they're the reverse of each other, right?
Right.
The fungal cloud is my models within 12 inches or wholly within 12 inches of the Gobapalooza. You get -1 to hit them.
Right.
The Arachnarok is if the enemy's within 12 inches, then -1 to hit.
Right.
But it means that I don't care if you all-out attack and you're not killing enough. You're not killing the entire unit, which means I'm just going to stay in combat. I'm just going to pass I'm going to CP.
Wow, -2 to hit. I mean, you have to get the spell off, to be fair.
I do. But I have a lot of pluses to hit, or a lot of pluses to cast, and I've got a lot of spells.
Right. Did you? And I can't remember. I think you had the Acolyte Battalion, right?
I did not, and I kind of regret not having that.
Every time I take it, I roll terribly on it, but I'm always like, every time someone else takes it, they don't, and it's amazing. Like
I just forgot to put it on the list, to be super
honest. No,
honest.
Yeah.
And by the time I realized, it was just too late.
We might have mentioned that, hey? Oh, maybe not.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. There was something in anyway. Okay. Wow. Okay, so -2 for a lot of your army.
No, maybe. Wait, no, I don't think I could because I took 2 items. Is that what it was? I think that was what it was. I took 2 items on this list. I have a Warlord.
You have a warlord, but that takes. Wait, how many heroes did you have?
3. I only had 5.
Oh, you had 5. You can put.
Yeah.
You can only.
Oh
you
yeah,
can,
yeah. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, because you can put 2
Yeah, I think I
acolytes
just
in
screwed
there.
up. You only need the 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
You
Wow.
only need 2 for that acolyte. Yeah. So it was just a.
Oh, but they have to both be wizards.
I've got the two.
And they
They
actually.
have to both be Andorian Locus as well.
I do have 2 Andorian Locus, but
And then do you have 2 other ones that would fit in the warlord? Because they have to be
I think I
9 or
do.
less.
no, I only have 4 total, don't I?
Ah, okay.
That's what it was. It was Warlord. I needed the item. That's why. Because I needed the I guess I didn't need it, but the +1 cast stick on the Madcap Shaman
Right. And then
meant that I could put Hoarfrost on him instead of the run spell on the Spiderfang.
And wait, do you have the headdress?
No, I took the totem.
The totem. Okay, so
I don't.
I think
really
I
care if
confused
the
that during
spell
the
box does
review.
damage.
I think I was thinking that you had taken the headdress of many
Yeah,
eyes,
yeah.
so that he's like really hard to kill. But you took the one that's +1.
One mortal, yeah. So he
wound.
just runs behind the spiders, and
That's only on 6s. That's not on 5s, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
but typically it's enough attacks that I get a couple mortals off here and there. The army isn't. I'm not killing you with spiders for the most part.
And why didn't you put that on your general? Because like there's a bigger range on a
I'm
bigger
not putting
base.
him in combat with things.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't want him anywhere near you.
Yeah, that's fair.
The reason why he has the super venom isn't to go into combat; it's to
Be a threat.
take down garbage that came near
I
the
see.
shrine or things like that. Like he's casting spells, he's getting that grand strat. He's
And
I mean he's cheap as hell. He's 270 points for a wizard, 2 cast, +1 cast, +1 dispel.
And he also gives off an aura of +1 to cast for
Yep.
other Spiderfang units, so that's something for sure. Huh. Okay. So then you basically just like movemented the Nurgle player. So you won that one, and then you went into game 2. And who were you facing in game 2?
Game 1 was Nurgle. Game 3 was Sylvaneth. What was game 2? Game 2 was Slanesh.
Slanesh. Whoa. Okay.
And
That was
he had-
the mix of shooting list, right? It had like
yeah, he had Taylor had some units, 2 units of Bliss Barb that, to be honest, really tore me apart. He was cranking the dice on those. They did a lot of damage.
well, and like they don't need to shoot that well to do well against your spiders.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And wait, do the archers for Gitz, do they have -1 to hit and shooting, or is that only on
No.
it's only on the spear guys?
they have +1 save
+1 save against shooting? Jeez.
if they got a banner
Oh,
or
jeez.
gong banger, or the hell it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's I mean the shooters are there because I needed a. I think it's probably confusing for a lot of people. They're there because I needed a battle line that could survive a charge from a reasonably competent unit. And they can, because they're -1 to hit base, plus I don't care if they live, I just need 1 to live. I need to tie you in combat.
Okay.
So I can leave.
But why aren't the spear guys better for that? Because they're -1 to hit and shooting and -1.
To be honest, I've never had them survive past turn 2, so it doesn't matter what they are. At least I get some shots off.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They're literally there to block and to be fired into. I mean, the fanatics often go in them. Sometimes they're in Gogapalooza if I think you're being sneaky and trying to hunt me down. I think I tossed them into the Snufflers once
Okay.
as a little bit of bait that I thought I screwed up there, but it ended up paying off in the end because he did end up going for them kind of out of nowhere. So having 3 units to put the fanatics in is kind of great because people always assume that they're going to be in the shooters.
In the shooters, yeah, for sure.
So
Gogapalooza
what that
or
lets me do is be
Snufflers are
very,
your
very
other
aggressive
options?
with the unit of shooters. So they're just moving 5 inches every turn,
Wow.
shooting their dumb little bows, and people are giving them a little bit of breadth, or they're just hitting them really hard, and then
Wow.
what happens happens.
Okay. So how did you think you won, or how did you win in the Slaanesh game then? Because like a Slaanesh is another army that's like considered to be top tier by a lot of people.
Snarlfang.
Yeah.
The Snarlfang and the movement spell did it for me because he couldn't redeploy fast enough away from me. I'm almost as fast as he is, but I'm technically faster because I ignore terrain. So I can go in diagonals.
So you the Snarlfang go in and they kill things?
They'd go in, they'd tie things up.
Okay. I was like, kill things sounds like a stretch, but we are talking Slaanesh, so
well, I mean,
maybe
if I get Hoarfrost stuff, there's not a lot that
fair. That's a good point. Yeah.
There's not a lot they don't kill. I killed
really
a zombie dragon in a practice game in a round, I think, before that. I mean, that's not common.
Okay,
it's not uncommon either. They hit on twos. If they has a wound,
I have to be honest, dude. I can't even remember like their profile now.
They're reach 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, 2 damage.
Wow.
The grot doesn't matter. Don't worry about him.
Okay, wait.
But they're +1 to hit base. They just get +1 to hit.
Oh. Wow.
If the enemy is wounded.
I see. You put it on the jaws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm seeing this profile. It feels like for the first time. It's not. Oh, Josh is in the chat, by the way. Josh Trenholm. He was the TO for Northern Wastes. We're gonna have to have him on as well. He says, "My boy." I'm assuming he's talking about you because we have not yet met yet.
He's my father.
Nice. He is your father. He is the Darth Vader to your Luke Skywalker.
My much younger father.
Oh man, it sounds like a Futurama episode. Cool. Okay, that's amazing. So you've got 10 of those guys. So assuming they all get in, that's 20 attacks, 3s and 3s, -3, 2 damage. That's insane and incredible. I love it. And then,
they put out a good amount of damage. It's not incredible. Nothing in that army is what you'd call conventionally good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that I think I'm taking some very good things, and it's
yeah. That's, to be honest, that's a little bit of my reaction when we started looking at it. I was just like, oh Jesus, I shouldn't even be showing this on stream. Like, we should just let him have his secrets.
Let him do his thing.
Yeah.
It'll blow over.
Like I've played this army. Like, I love my spiders. So Godspeed. Yeah.
Off meta. There's a power to playing off meta.
That's true. That is absolutely true. I completely agree with that. Yeah.
So I baffle the shit out of people, or baffle the hell out of people that I'm playing usually, because they just don't really know what it does. They've never heard of it, so that's cool. That's fun. But even if they do, you can't stop the tricks that it does. It's not like you can stop me from Gavapaloozing things. I mean, I've got enough spells that something's going off. I've got +1 to cast across the board except for Gavapalooza.
Right.
That just gets better with the Hoarfrost caster because every time he dispels, it's +1. Like it gets. You get to a point where I'm getting at least one of my tricks, 2 of my tricks off every single round. I'm either moving something in a place you don't want me to move. I'm getting a bunch of -1 to hit spells off. I'm doing something. I'm teleporting a unit. Something.
Right.
Something's happening.
And it feels like this list too is like. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm definitely. I play Spiderfang. I just don't play them that well, right? So it feels like this list, under normal circumstances, we're not talking about Matthias right now, but normally it cares less about the double. It's like you almost expect to get doubled, right? You move your crap out, and I do mean crap, and then it's just like, okay, well, like I've prepared for this,
You killed some shooters.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
No. Yeah. Every round, you just get down there on your knees and shout out to the heavens. I can't repeat what Josh just said in the chat, but he said it.
A thing that I haven't seen many Gloomspite players do, and that's admittedly because we don't have a ton of Gloomspite players in town that play with fanatics. You don't have to release your fanatics. You can just let the unit die.
Yep.
They still attack.
They used to all die. They used to all die, and
they did that. Yeah, they did.
And now, do they take a mortal wound?
Nothing.
Nothing. Wow.
It's before the last model is removed.
Right.
You place the entire unit totally within 6 inches of that.
Oh,
but that's the only restrictions. You can put them in combat. They've just made all their attacks, so now you hit back with 10 fanatics.
That's freaking brilliant. I didn't think about that. And we actually have a ton of fanatic players locally. I never thought of that. Like, that's absolutely brilliant. Because, like, I've been playing them long enough now, and I didn't have them back then because, you know, they were okay back then, but they weren't great. And because, like, I'm just used to that pressure. Like, I played assassins, like, for Skaven and, like, all these other units that are hidden. And when they, you know, if the unit dies, then they can die.
But you still have that. You have, I mean, people aren't stupid. They know you have fanatics, and they know, and any player you're playing in a tournament is going to know what unit it's in, because you move them in a certain way.
Right.
Unless you can sometimes trick people a little bit if you're super aggressive, but that can get dangerous. You can just lose a unit by accident.
But by the same token, like, unless you're right outside of 3, you could, like, you can have your fanatics fight first.
Yep.
Which is what most people, like, assume is the right choice. And I think, but now that I'm hearing what you're saying,
I mean, it often is, right? It depends on what's happening.
But you know what, though? So, like, I think a lot of people, I agree. Like, my point being that, like, if you're trying to protect something nearby, you want them to go out first so they can weaken whatever they're going against, and then hopefully that unit that you're trying to protect survives, right? But a lot of the time, you actually just want your fanatics to survive. So if they pop out after they've attacked, then that's a way better unit than the stupid Shudas, and then they could attack at the start of the next combat phase as well, or whatever.
And I'm playing King's Gitz, so typically the sacrificial unit is coming back that turn too. So I've got a reasonably good chance 4+ reroll.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've sacrificed the Gobblepalooza a couple times now doing that.
Really?
Because I know, well, if it's on my turn, if I know that I'm going to get them, I'll charge them into combat with something ridiculous. Do nothing, and then they'll crank that.
Right.
Then all the fanatics pop out and either kill the thing they're in combat with, or you're now in combat with 10 fanatics, and it's either going to be end of turn, I might double, you might double. Either way, you're still in combat with 10 fanatics.
You have 10 fanatics?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 5.
No, it's 10.
Dang.
It's full 10.
Okay.
You can put 10 fanatics and 5 Gobblepalooza for whatever reason.
Because Goblin Launch.
Clown card.
I'm totally down with that, actually. Oh, man. Ladivicus says he loves that trick. I agree. Keith says, Skaven do it better. Hidden miniguns trump some Gitz high on mushrooms with a wrecking ball. I have to come down with my Skaven here, but I am legally required to at this point.
Both dead to me.
All hail the Great Order. yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Keith's a good guy. Give him another chance. But yeah, I understand. So are Gitz your, like, one true love? Like, for me, it's Skaven. For Carson, obviously, is ogres. Are Gitz your one true love?
I played goblins in Fantasy Battle.
Nice. Okay.
And I did reasonably well with them in a couple GTs.
Which is saying something, because I don't remember them being good, like, ever.
There was
which
it depends on when you were playing. So
yeah.
You could do some just asinine shenanigans with, like, the lever arm fanatic hurl and things like that. Like, there's a lot of weird tech tricks.
There was a time, I guess. Okay, fair enough.
My true love is Chaos Dwarves.
What? Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, after the stream,
actually, that picture I sent you might even have Chaos Dwarves in it. Did I send you one that has the
I think so, actually. Yeah, here, one second. I'll pull that up.
Yeah.
Podcast picks. So I'll go through it. So we got some Spiderfang, or what do you call it? Spider Riders, and then we've got the War Party. It looks like on the Warcry terrain with awesome like mushroom spiders. Oh no, that's the mushroom with a spider next to it. Got it. That looks like it's from the Ragnarok kit actually. And then, oops, why are the pictures not going forward now? Oh, there we go. Okay, and then we've got the I always blank on his name. A Scuttle Boss on Cave Spider, and then a Skitter Strand. It looks like.
Is it the one with the pot in front?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a head swap and a little bit of conversion word.
Oh, cool. Is that the one that you got it from the other angle that it's standing up on its back legs and?
Oh, sorry. I heard Spiderfang Shaman. It's in my brain. Sorry. That is a bunch of heat gun shenanigans and
that's what I was gonna ask.
Make the thing reposition.
Yeah, you must have like reposed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I know that kit pretty good.
Sorry, I forgot it has a pot in front of it too.
Yeah, it also has a pot, and then we've got. I love this the head swap here on the. I'm just so out of it right now.
The spinner web, is that the one?
Web spinner.
Web
yeah,
spinner.
Yeah. He's got a cool head swap. I don't even know what that's from.
It is a 3D print that I had to chop the hell out of to fit on his body.
Damn, that's cool, man. I have to send you mine. And then we've got the Snufflers here, which are beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that yellow. It's like a fall green or whatever. It looks like almost from scale 75. I'm not sure what it actually is, but it looks similar.
Yeah, it's real bright. The skin is too.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's called fall green from scale 75. It's like really light. Like it's
I think all the paints I used were all game airbrush paint.
Oh, cool, from Vallejo.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Oh wow, beautiful. I love the modeled skin on Spiker on the Gobapalooza. Beautiful. And then now we got the reposed Skitter Strand here, and then here we go. Now I found it. So like the top left, it looks like Chaos Dwarves. Yeah. Okay, remind me. We need to talk after the show. Okay. So, how are you playing them? Because they're on rounds. Oh, because they were in AOS until
Legion of Asgore was an army.
Right. Oh man, are you hoping for them to?
They have Legends rules now. They killed them.
I know, but like there was a rumor that they were gonna make them again.
So Hobgrots literally reference Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, exactly. The Hobgrot Slitas, their grenades are.
But there's also the Slaves book has Horns of a Shut. So
yep.
Give me my goddamn Chaos Dwarves.
He wants them yesterday. They were a cool. So the only form of dwarf that I ever got into was Chaos Dwarves in the 90s, and I regret nothing. Those
they're amazing.
Those curly beards and like
curly beards, big hats.
Did you play them in Total War?
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is a huge digression, but like, oh man, it's so cool. I'm glad that they finally did that.
I love them. I absolutely adore that stupid damn army. They're my boys.
Okay. Yes. Robin, pick my brain in the Discord about Deepkin. I'm always happy to talk about them. Easy conversation when organizing a game. Do you mind if I use Legends list? Yeah. I mean, it's a good way to gauge your opponent too. You know what I mean? Like if they're like, yeah, whatever, then must be a good person as far as I'm concerned.
I've been considering pressuring Dale to let me run them at
Oh, that would be awesome. Oh, that would be so cool. Yeah, like let's make it happen. Yes. Oh man. Anyway, okay. Back to Gitz.
That's right.
Back to Spiderfang. So then you were game 3 was against Sylvaneth, you said, I believe.
Yes.
And where podcast picks?
That was
Sylvaneth.
Sylvaneth are tricky because they take kind of what I do and then get away from me really easily.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of models and I can start really, really putting pressure on their trees. So nobody wants to attack Rippa's Snarlfangs. Nobody wants to have to put anything into them.
Yeah, that's fair.
But they're 3 cav bases, and when you put them an inch away from each other, they take up enough spot that can stop you from teleporting to 2 different tree sets.
And you also don't want to like be within 6 inches of them, especially if they have Hoarfrost on them, because then you're just going,
and that's the thing. Like,
poof.
I mean, they don't. I didn't get to put Hoarfrost on them even once, but Rippa's Snarlfangs have the Snarlfang rule, except it's +1 to hit and wound, so both. But it's for the unit, so it works on Rippa too.
Jeez.
So he's a loon boss that gets 2s and 2s.
Whoa. Okay. So then, which Sylvaneth list did you play of the many that were in Northern Wales?
Brian, I want to say, I think it's Waters.
Okay.
He's a wonderful guy, but
Is he the one with the Tree Lords?
Waters. I'm pretty sure it's 2 T's. Yeah, T-T, yes. He had a Tree Lord. He had, he was basically doing Kurnoth in and out.
Oh, it was Heartwood, the Heartwood one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's the one I said was a man after my own heart, because I like Heartwood, and it works like that.
So that game was it was a very good game, and I just kind of this army plays very similarly against almost every army, except you're using different units to do each roll every time, which is weird. Because against some armies, like against something like Sylvaneth, where they're just 3+ base save and 1,000,000 wounds.
Yeah.
I'm not using the Snarlfang really unless I can guarantee that
the Hoarfrost.
The Hoarfrost off.
Yeah.
Even if I give them a Gobblepalooza, it's -1 isn't gonna. It might do some damage, but not enough.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say against Sylvaneth, you're probably leaning into your mortal wounds.
Yeah, so I just start ramming spiders down into them, using them as the actual. I switch up. That is now my hammer. That flies in. They can soak enough wounds, and they just keep on putting enough mortals out to eventually take you down.
Well, you can put the extra rend on their attacks. Like they've got a lot of attacks.
You can,
you know.
But I've also got fanatics, so that's the Hoarfrost is
that's
on
true.
something.
But don't the fanatics have to be out before you can put that on them?
So, often what I'll do, depending on what is happening, is I'll pop the fanatics out on your turn in your charge phase. If I'm within about 12 to 15 inches of you, I'll just pop out 3 inches from there, Hoarfrost them, then send them out on my turn.
And then next turn,
they
go in. Oh, I like that.
Assuming you don't have anything that can, like the biggest thing that screws fanatics is Unleash Hell and monsters just stomping. Every fanatic you lose is D6 fewer attacks. So
yeah, exactly. So you could lose most of the unit on a 5 wound thing on a decent stomp.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing too. Yeah, that's a good call. Okay. So that's a cool game, and that takes you up through game 3, and then game 4 was against Alex?
No, game 4 was against Fire Slayers, Mike McMullen.
Fire Slayers, okay.
Yeah. Which is rough. Fire Slayers aren't considered a super, I'll say, meta army, I guess, but they trade incredibly well, because anything that you hit them with dies in return.
Right.
It does if you're a goblin anyhow.
Yes.
So
I mean,
I'm setting up fanatics, they die. I'm setting out spiders, they die. Snarlfang, they die. So basically I just I had to maneuver very carefully and make sure that, luckily, Fire Slayers don't have wizards. So he's only got 1 turn where he can null dust me. So I just make sure that I get my double -1 spells off and just try to weather as much damage as I can. And just make sure that whatever I'm hitting is trading well enough that I'm going to be okay.
Right on.
And that game didn't go the entire time either. But I think we made it to turn 4, I think, and it's just it's a lot of things. Like Fire Slayers have a lot of things that happen on your turn. goblins have a lot of, I had to maneuver very carefully and stuff like that. So it's just, we got to a point where we're like, okay, this is the natural end of this game is this turn, so we're good here.
Right on. That's awesome. R. Miller says, "Woo, Conan, stomp those fire slayers." And what up, Darren? Thanks for joining us. That's interesting. And that was the one with the single Magmadroth.
Magmadroth, yeah.
Yeah, and then a bunch. Yeah, I remember that list. That was an interesting.
Yeah, it's basically
one.
there as he's got a Magmadroth, he's got 2 Grimwrath Berserkers, and they're there as missiles. Everything trades, like the Grimwrath attack on death, like that. I got lucky there. I think he actually failed when I killed the one Berserker. I don't remember. God, I was hungover. Something. He failed to attack twice with one of his Berserkers for some reason. I think it might have been the attack twice in one combat phase thing.
Dang.
I don't remember, but I got lucky there, and he ended up not killing. I think it was Rippa's. Rippa's managed to stay with 1 wound or 2 wounds left in combat with him. So
that's very fortunate. And then he didn't have anything to stop you from using your CP to prevent battle shock.
Yeah, and I can just screw off and grab objectives and things like that. So,
and I'm assuming you're kind of not CP rich, but you're keeping like at least 1 CP per turn for battle shock, eh?
Almost always, yeah.
Yeah. And do you have a triumph? I can't remember your points.
Never.
Okay.
I have 1995 points because we're the only army with a 5-point unit now.
Wow.
So never once.
Dang. Okay.
The other thing that happened with that game was the scenario was, I forget the name, but it's the battle plan where you get extra points if you have wizards, if you have Endorian locusts on the objective, and he gets 1 for every wizard he kills.
Oh.
So he has no locusts, but he has no wizards to kill. So I played very aggressively with my 2 little shamans for the first round, got my 2 points, and then just screwed off with them to make sure that he couldn't snipe them out, and just tried to keep those all alive so that, because I've got a lot of points to give up on him. I've got the 2 locusts, I've got the Gobblepalooza, I've got the big shaman.
Right.
That's 4 free points right there if you can get them.
Wow.
So I had to play very carefully with it.
And they're not even that hard to kill,
No.
very easy to kill rather. And I was thinking there's also the shaman on Ragnarok who's, not that hard to kill.
Yeah, like he's big, he's got a lot of wounds.
Got a lot of wounds.
They have no ward.
Yeah, 4 up. So you got to use your birthday, best day ever. Alex and
Happy
Josh.
birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Alex and Josh both said it's called Power Flux was the name of the map.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
And Alex says Conan has the hair and beard of all the metalheads he grew up with. So I'll take his word for it. It sounds right.
Call me pretty, Alex.
Yeah. Okay, and then you faced Matthias, and you said you made a mistake. I mean, because this is really all about learning, how you did what you did, but maybe we could also learn from your mistakes and just hear what
the real lesson of that game is, well, there's just 2 lessons. The real lesson of that game is ask questions. Don't assume you know what the other guy's doing.
Right. Okay.
I, for whatever reason, absolutely forgot that the giant whip bloodthirster had a whip that could shoot.
Right.
So when I fired fanatics into the bloodletters thinking I would do a lot of damage, I ended up losing, I think, 4 of them to the whip on the way in. But
from an Unleash Hell, right.
From an Unleash Hell. And then the second part was I did not realize that the bloodthirster gives a -1 to hit aura.
Right. That's the Unfettered Fury.
I think I did 3 or 4 damage with 6 fanatics.
Oh man, that's
and then I just wiped them out. And that's it's a big chunk of my list going. So I fired the fanatics. Sorry, down the wrong pipe.
Did he also? So he did Unleash Hell,
Yeah.
with the whip, and then did he stomp or did he roar?
He wasn't in range. I specifically was avoiding the bloodthirster, thinking I would just
Clever.
tie up the because I mean Fnatic's a 3-inch range, so if they're
Right.
all positioned carefully,
Right.
he has to move far enough that I was kind of hoping maybe I'll do enough damage to like kill 15 of them, 16 of them maybe if I get lucky.
Right.
And then he'll have to move 2 inches back towards me, and he'll have to attack me, and then the answer, Rob, is that I'm dumb.
not clearly not dumb. You're taking an army that most people consider to be low tier, straight up, right? And going 4-1 at a tournament with, Null Myriad OBR.
Two things can be true.
I mean,
there's something to be said about like the fatigue of being on game 5 of 5 in a tournament as well. Like you said, you're probably hungover as well too. Like I remember getting basically lectured by Matthias at because we went to Emerald City Open together, and I was at top table there.
Yeah,
he doesn't drink, so he's got an advantage there. But like I also played my last game very stupidly, and he was just like, "Why would you do that?" Like I was playing against Corn, and he was just like, "No, you should have done this, this, and this." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Matthias, please."
I think
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like down there, but I made him play every turn. So I got tabled turn. I think I had one grot left, beginning of 4, and then he killed it in my hero phase, I think. And then he's reaching to shake my hand. I was like, "All right, what are you doing? Your turn."
Nice.
I mean,
I love it.
He said, "I do these tactics and keep on going." But
yeah,
the second, so that's lesson number 2.
Sorry, just before Josh goes, thanks for joining us, Josh. Loved having you. He said he's going to go back and watch it from the beginning. So thanks for sticking around while you could. I know it's
Josh is down where you guys are now.
Oh, really?
Van right now.
What? Oh man, we gotta like meet up or something. Maybe if he's anyway. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I just wanted to catch him before he left. Sorry.
Don't give up games ever, even if you're getting tabled.
Yeah.
Ever. You won't learn anything.
Yeah.
You play the game until. This is going to sound more aggressive than I want it to, but
I like it.
I think if there's one thing I'm known for up here amongst our group, it's that I will make you play a game until both of us aren't having fun if I have to.
Like a comedian who loses the crowd and just leans into it. Yeah.
Like, don't give up. If you think you're going to get tabled, play it until you do get tabled. See how many points you can get until then.
Yeah.
Just do everything you can. Keep playing until you don't have any models left and no hope of bringing models back.
That probably helps your mental fatigue. Like, probably helps your mental conditioning so that when you are on later tables, you're like, I do this all the time. So, like, I'm a marathon runner who's just running like an ultra marathon this time,
There's Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say it's also literally a dice game. Like it can spike in your favor so hard.
That's so
true.
And one example I have is actually against Matthias. We were playing on TTS where his Hex Scorcher skulls popped and killed like I think 2 of my wizards were like my only 2 wizards and like really hurt my Stonehorn, like 6 mortal wounds each. And I was like, all right, well that's game. And then I proceeded to get no less than 4 11-inch charges in a row against him in Meat Fist, which is just like tons of mortal wounds. And then I basically tabled him. And I was like, all right then. It was like the biggest swing I've ever seen, and it can happen. Like it's gambling essentially, but it's a dice game. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And then that's the thing. It's not only like this is a game where you have a reasonably swingy set of dice. D6 can go maybe not as far as some games, but we're chucking enough dice that you can kind of look at averages and plan around them a little bit.
Yeah,
but also, we're not wizards. We can't tell the future. So play every game until you can't play anymore. And it'll teach you a ton. And you'll get better. And you'll learn a ton. And a lot of players... a lot of players I've played in the past, with very aggressive armies, rely on you giving up, rely on just breaking you on that. Either they double turn you and remove a lot of your models, and they expect you to either, whether or not they're doing it intentionally, they expect you to give up or to kind of crack under it. If you don't, you can rally, you can get points. Who cares if you kill something? This game is sit on objectives. The game.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
So
I mean, two things. First of all, some of us are wizards, okay, but not all of us are clairvoyant, so that's a fair point. But second of all, they actually play so I tend to play aggressive armies. I like to play like Johnny, Timmy, but I like to kill things, because then if I don't win, at least I killed things, and that makes me happy. Right? This is just my thought process, right? So, but like I often, especially in battle reports, I find, because they're very mentally draining. Like Carson will, attest to this. It's just, they take a long time, and they're just, you know what I mean? So like people tend to call them more soon, but then there's also some types of people, and Carson's not one of these people, like, but where they
setting him up immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I just meant, like, I was saying, like, Carson will attest that they are mentally draining, and you know what I mean? Like almost demanding and whatnot. But then I didn't want to imply that he's the type to give up. That's not, the opposite is true. He actually will hang on further than most people, but like I do have, battle reports where people give up. Some people tend to give up quite soon, and they're just those kinds of people where they kind of go, oh, like it's over. And the amount of times that, like, I'm thinking of a couple of people in particular where they've said, oh, it's over, and they've come back and won, is crazy, to the point where I'm like, you don't get to say that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you've done this in the past, right? I think that's like some of the best advice you can give. And like I watch a lot of I really like fighting games, like Street Fighter and that kind of thing. And some of the best players in that game as well, they have this mental conditioning where, like sometimes you just get rolled in a round. It just doesn't go your way. And the players that are really good, or the players that are, not the best, will tend to be still thinking about what happened in the last round. Or if they miss a combo or whatever, they drop a combo and it costs them the round or whatever, the natural thing to do is be thinking in the next round, like, oh God, like I dropped that combo. But like, you got to just clear out that cache, your mental cache, and just like, what can I do from now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a great point. I think that should be brought up more often. Like, what can you do to be better at tournament? And that's one of the best
Just
things.
never give up.
Just never give up. Yeah, exactly. Because like, you'll learn something even if you lose. You're like, oh, well, I lost it. Like, you could say to someone like, oh yeah, like, don't give up, because you could still pull it out. And then like they'll kind of half-ass, or even if they don't, they'll be like, see, I still couldn't pull it out. It's like, motherfucker, you still probably learned something there. Damn it.
That's going back to the Matthias game. I wasn't, after turn one, he knew I wasn't winning.
Yeah.
I know I'm not winning.
Yeah.
We're we're in a tournament. Just play the stupid game.
Yeah.
Like, he came from out of town to play in a tournament. Play the game. But also I got to learn a ton of Corn shenanigans from an incredible player.
Right.
So there is no loss there. I got to learn a ton of stuff about a very good army, and now I know that stuff.
Right.
Hopefully I learn something from it. Like, hopefully it sticks, and hopefully I can use that in the future to not get tabled so hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah, I mean, yeah. By the way, so you're clearly very good at this game in general. Do you take notes during practice games, or no, none of that stuff?
Not really.
I just don't take notes in life. Like, I've started using my phone, like, cause family man, and I take care of people and that kind of thing. So I started using my phone for appointments, and I'm just like, I need to start doing that in practice games more, But
There's nothing wrong with my brain. There's a fly going around.
No, I could tell. I saw you trying to grab it.
So
It's rearranging its mind in front of us. My God.
Yeah, maybe he is a wizard. Burn him.
holy God, I forgot what I was gonna say now. The notes. Playing. This swings back to something you asked a little earlier too. I don't take notes during games, but I do. I don't have a great memory, but I do have a weird memory. So I kind of know. I'm pretty good at getting the gist of what's happening, I guess you could say, for lack of better words. And the way I look at the game isn't so much I know what your unit does. When I played War Machine, I spent a long time memorizing cards and stats and things like that, and I knew a lot of what people could do. That's they all did. That's how competitive War Machine was played. But with this game, there's a lot more stuff. So the way I look at things now is, are you better than a goblin? How much better than a goblin do I think you are? Are you worse than a goblin? Probably not. How much damage do I think you can do? Can I expect you to wipe out my unit? If I can, then I avoid it, or I use that in some way. But I think that's kind of helped a lot, because you don't. I teach math and computer science at college up here. I teach stats. I know the numbers work. But if you get bogged out too much in the stats, like what I should roll for averages and things like that, that way life's madness.
Yeah.
But if I look at it and say, better than shooters by a margin, and my shooters live, you're like, holy crap, cool. And if they die, you're like, called it.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's a lot more freeing playing things like that, because you stop relying on your units that you've been told are very good to do the thing that you think they're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Our Miller did
kind of rambly, but
no, I really like what you said. I did want to point out that sometimes I'll look to the side and because I'm seeing the chat, but I don't want to interrupt. So I'll laugh at what the chat tends to be hilarious, and I appreciate that. R. Miller says, "Show that fly who's the Spooder King." And Keith said, "Dice are random. Math hammer creates disappointment." I think that's true. Yeah, I used to do a lot of math hammer, and then I'd be like I would roll my dice, and the thing wouldn't happen, and I'd be like, "But it's supposed to do this." You know what I mean? Like I don't.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
For both of you, actually, everybody in chat too. If you roll 6 dice,
yeah,
what's your chance of getting a 6?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that question, because on average, one of those is supposed to be 6. So
is it?
Isn't it? Or is it a little bit? I think so. I thought so.
Independent. There's an independent chance for each die.
Yes.
Intuitive, you would think that yes, one of them should be 6, but each die has a separate chance to be 6.
You have a 1 in 6 chance when you roll 1 dice of rolling a 6.
Yes.
So it's around 18-ish, somewhere around there, 16 to 18.
Yeah.
When you roll 6 dice, expecting to get a 6,
yeah,
it's about 70%.
Really? It's about 70% of the time you get one.
That number, do not take that number exactly. It's around there.
Really? Huh. Oh man, I love that. That's so cool.
Don't on it.
No, I know, but even if you're wildly off, let's say it's 50% of the time, which is wildly off for this scenario, right? Especially considering we were thinking it's on average you're getting 1 per turn. But if it's 70%, then that's not even true.
So it's a 2/3 chance, 0.66 repeating.
Oh, okay.
To get 6 on 6 dice, or at least 1 6 on 6 dice.
Wow.
Did you just do the math?
No, I googled it.
Carson, you
And
could have lied to me, man.
I believe that, I mean, I also studied computer science. I'm a
There you
video
go.
game programmer, so
Badass.
yeah. So I do probabilities and stuff a lot. Random chances like extremely common in like my everyday work and like loot tables and stuff. But
Perfect.
no, I didn't do the math. I rely on other people to do math for me.
The real power of stats isn't what averages are. It's what less than average is. Expect every single unit you have to do worse than average.
Yes, yeah.
And if you do, if it doesn't, super.
That's a great point. You know, like sometimes I would, yeah, like I remember my first game with Kragnos, and like I'm not normally like this, but like I brought on this big Timmy model and my thought was like, everyone's gonna love this thing just running around and smashing things. Like, this is gonna be great. Everyone's gonna really enjoy it. And then he rolled like trash, like not even close to average, right? And I kept saying like, oh, he's not supposed to do this. And I was getting so frustrated because I was excited for people that were going to be watching it. Like, I'm not normally like that, right? And I got a bunch of people saying like Rob, like, just shut up about your dice. No one wants to hear about your dice. And I really took that to heart. But like, if I would have known that, then I wouldn't have even like expected it. Does that make sense? Like, I would have just been like, okay, this is, that's a good point. Oh.
Numbers don't work the way we think they do.
That's true. Yeah,
we're real bad at that. Like people in general, our brains aren't wired for this shit. We're bad at it. We're bad at numbers.
That's so true. Yeah, like
intuitively. So
I agree. Like the example that I always give, I talk about this all the time, which is funny. but the example that I always give, like I tell my son and that kind of thing. Like we work with these numbers. Like everyone knows what 1,000 times 1,000 is. Like it's not hard to figure out. But like when you say like, okay, how many, what is it? It's like how many seconds, how much time is 1,000,000 seconds? And it's something like 11 days, or I forget what it is. I can't remember. It's like a week or somewhere between a week and like 10 days or something like that. And then you're like, okay, now how much is 1 billion? And I've never heard anyone was like, like even close. Like the closest guess I think I ever heard was like around like 4 months or something like that, or half a year. And it's something like 11 years, or it's something wild, right? And so, yeah, we really I think we like only understand like, you know what I mean? Like really like maybe 100 is like what our brains are. And we can figure it out using paper and that kind of thing, right? But like, yeah, that's so true. Okay. So what advice would you give for people who either they're watching this for Gitz or they're watching this to hear about it?
Spiderfang to a GT for advice.
Yeah. You're the mad genius who did this. Now tell us, everyone. Tell everyone. You gotta, what's it called? Like you gotta pull the tripe out of the live cow and read it and tell us the future, okay? I think that's what a Haruspex is, or something like that, right? Isn't it like some old witch who like pulls?
Everybody sell your Snarlfang if you have any, just so they go down and point some more.
Yeah. I just bought another Arachnarok because I sold one to a local player because she couldn't find them, and so I was like, Seraphon was about to come out. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be busy with dinosaurs. Here you go. Sold her some of my Spiderfang, and then I was like, just going, I sold it, and I was having like night sweats and stuff like that. Okay, so. First of all, if someone wants to run Spiderfang, what are your tips? Like, what is your sort of mission statement or some kind of scaffolding hint? I don't know.
Well, the biggest thing is that I didn't. Right, I didn't run Spiderfang.
You didn't just run Spiderfang, and you did not run. Are you talking about the clan? You didn't run the sub faction?
Well, just in general, like I ran Spiderfang units, but if you look at even just points wise, I've got almost as much Gitmob / Moon Clan as I have spiders.
So you've got Gobapalooza's like 160.
190, I think, something insane.
Okay, wow, they're that expensive now.
They went up. That might not be right, but they're up there.
I thought they were like 160, 170. But putting that as, like, let's just say that like that about
240
that.
and Snarlfang, another 100 something from Rippa's.
Madcap.
Madcap Shaman.
Right.
10 Fanatics.
Right. Shootas.
Like it's a good number of points.
That's a good amount. 170 says Ladivicus for the.
Yeah, because they went up by some.
Yeah, they started at 140 or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So I guess the advice if somebody wants to play Spiderfang is don't
just run Spiderfang. Yeah, I tried that. It's not a good idea. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Okay.
I don't think Spiderfang on there. I played them. I owned 4 Ragnarok's.
Nice.
I don't. They were fun, and then they weren't. It's only going to get you so far, and there's only like 3 kits.
And they're 160 millimeter base. It's brutal.
It's just under. If you use them for.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I used my Arachnox a couple times for Surround and Destroy, and you have to be tangent with the table edge.
Wow.
Otherwise, they're technically not wholly within.
Jeez.
So, what I would say is, I don't know if locking yourself into any very specific subfaction of any army is going to help you a lot.
I agree. I mean, like, I think there's a lot more compelling reasons to run the other sub-factions, but, like, I meant, like,
yeah.
I just meant, like, if someone wanted to...
Run a lot of them?
Run a lot of Spiderfang, yeah.
You cannot go wrong with a Ragnarok Shaman.
Yeah.
They're just, like, they're 270 points for a giant blocking thing. If it's not your general, then cool.
Right.
It's there to take up hits, and it gives an aura of plus to cast. It's got 2 casts. There's a good amount of tech there. If you're gonna take one, you might as well take a little shaman too, because he's an Andorian Locust.
Andorian Locust, he's like 65 points, and he gets a +1 himself if he's in the aura of the web spinner.
Yep.
Shaman. Yeah.
The units are less important than how you use them. Don't take Spiderfang expecting to beat other people in the combat game.
Right.
You're not going to. You will do some damage. And sometimes you'll spike the hits, and it'll be just the greatest day you've ever had. You'll run up and you'll roll 8 6s, and you'll just vaporize something. But probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
So it's the strength of Spiderfang is that they ignore terrain, and they all move 10, and your spells buff the hell out of them. They buff the hell out of the thing they're good at, which is movement.
Right.
And that's powerful. That's what makes spiders worthwhile at all. It's not the mortals. It's not the garbage shooting. It's not the fact that they're reasonably cheap. It's the fact that they're incredibly fast and ignore terrain. There's very few things in the game, as far as an army goes, that is as numerous / as wherever the hell I want to be as Spiderfang. Use that to your advantage.
That's great advice. Carson, do you have anything you want to ask about that?
I don't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. You had to consult your mustache. I understand. Okay. And then what about, like, so you play Spiderfang. You play Chaos Dwarves when you have a good and kind opponent who's willing to do legends. Do you have any other armies?
I think I've sold everything else off. I pretty much just have the 2 right now.
Right. Okay. So then,
yeah.
So I wanted to, like, ask about that first. So then, do you have any advice if someone likes a sub faction, a subset, you know, like they're like, oh man, I love Molder. Molder's my thing in Skaven, but like you just don't see them. Like, how do how do you go about figuring out like how to make that unconventional thing work?
It helps to talk it through with some folks.
That's great advice.
It helps to talk it through with some folks that are open-minded at the very least.
Right.
Because a lot of conversations will usually end with, "That's trash, why bother?"
Yeah, never bring it up in a Facebook group. Like, it just, the same thing gets regurgitated. It's crazy. It's crazy.
To be honest, I assume that everybody that saw anything about the list, I just assumes that every opponent I had just had a stroke halfway. That's the internet.
Wait. Didn't they have a stroke? Are you saying they did not have a stroke?
Next question.
Okay. Yeah. You plead the fifth. No, Miller, I love Mulder. Okay, don't misunderstand. That was pulled from my soul, and I presented it to you. I've got a bunch of giant rats on the table, and I finished my Master Molder a little while ago, so that's coming up. And I finished my Pestilence, my Pestilence Warband that just came out.
The advice is pretty simple. It's talk it through before you buy anything, because God knows like this hobby is not a cheap one. Talk it through and see what weird stuff you can build. I caught it.
Yeah.
See what you can do with it. Build some lists, fiddle with it. If you really want, TTS it. I'm not a massive fan of TTS because the movement's real janky, and a lot of the lists I play are really movement forward.
I agree.
But it's a good place to start where you can do things on. So start there. Do it theoretically first. And then once you get into a testing phase, just proxy it, play it, and don't play it once.
Yes.
Play it 3 games.
I made a
minimum
huge
3
mistake
games.
actually with my Molder of going, I got this idea with Molder, Rat Ogres, this, that, and then I played against Eric's Heartwood bow hunter list, and you could shoot the heroes back then, and he had +1 to hit, and then he gave him all out attack, and even my -1 to hit, he was still +1 to hit. And so I was just like, oh, this isn't good. You know what I mean? And I don't normally do that, but you know.
Well, that raises a good point though, because part of this is if you're serious about making trash work, make sure you're playing somebody that you think hard counters it.
Yes, that's true.
Make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure. Make sure you're like, don't ask them. Tell them what you're playing, and say like, break this.
Right.
Try to break it.
Right.
Try to make this list bad with your army. And I think the best advice that I think any of us could ever get is if you have a trick in your army, if there's a trick, if you have something, some gimmick, some jank, some tech, it has to work every time. It can't just be the opponent didn't know about it, or they weren't expecting it, or you hit it somehow, or I got the spell off, so yay, I did it. Yeah. It has to work every single time, which means either you need redundancy, or if it doesn't work, it doesn't cripple your list.
Right. Yeah. That's actually the reason why I was saying, like, I've never been a fan of Storm Fiends. I actually think they're bad. I think they're way overpriced for what they do, because they completely rely on more warp power. And like, now is the first time that you can even somewhat reliably get it off, just because you can build into Andorian Locust. But even then, you're like depending basically your whole army on whether or not you get off one spell. And even if you get off that spell, they're very, 3d6 attacks is so random. You could have 3 or 18 attacks. That's crazy, right? Oh, by the way, R. Miller says, tell Conan it's me, Robin.
Oh, that's our Skaven boy.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Okay. That's my guy. Okay.
Giant rats for days.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah. Giant rats are awesome. I painted some of these guys recently, and I think they're from the Doom Wheel kit, but I don't even
get that garbage off the screen.
Yeah. And then I got most
Tired of giant rats.
I got most of them from like this is the guy from the what's it called, the Plague Monk sprue. It's like a little tiny like anthropomorphized rat, like actual rat in a robe with a big knife, which I love. He's going to be my leader rat. Anyway, now that I've thoroughly
That's just fan service for Robin. The boy is just adores rats. So
okay, Robin, we need to talk because I built my channel around Skaven almost. Like,
here's the thing. I like taking weird garbage and making it not weird garbage. I hate saying that because it's not garbage. None of this is garbage. No unit is bad. It's just some are harder to use and some are a little overcosted.
right.
But I like taking the stuff like that and fiddling around with it and seeing if I can make it work. Robin is like a weird jank wizard that I've never seen a human being rely on a 9-inch charge after spending 40 minutes for a hero phase before. But here's our boy. Win or lose, ride or die on a 9.
Nice. I like it. That's like, I mean, that's kind of a Skaven player though, like at their heart. You know what I mean? Like I was running 4 Warp Lightning cannons in AOS 2 where you needed 1 engineer for each cannon just to overcharge them. Right? It was the dumbest thing ever. And like consistently blowing myself up. But going like, it'll work next time because the Great Horn Rat believes in me.
It's fine. It'll happen.
Absolutely. So no, I love that kind of thing. Okay. Okay. So then now I guess the final kind of question, unless, and by the way, is there anything that you wanted to talk about with the list, with your tournament experience or anything about?
I think that the list we kind of went through a bunch. It's
yeah.
I want to make very, very clear that a lot of this is just that I've been playing a long time. It's not. I mean, I lost the tournament. It's take any advice I give you with a massive chunks of salt. So what works for one person won't work for everybody. It's everybody has a different play style.
That's true. And different like psychographic profiles to boot. Like I could never run like your list just because like I need to kill things. Like I need to do that to feel good about myself or whatever.
Yeah, and I've never, to be super honest, the armies that I love the most, the ones where I get benefit out of killing my own guys.
Nice.
If I could just sit there and blow my own stuff up to do things to you, that's optimal. I love that. That's the coolest.
Wait, how do you do that?
That's more of a War Machine thing.
Oh, okay. I was like,
the armies I played.
I was like, I can only think of Khorne that gets something out of themselves dying.
Games Workshop has really, really pulled back on stuff like that, so it's not.
Right.
It's not as. So, with that in mind, the only thing I can do at that point is just play a lot of like movement shenanigans and things like that. Things that I don't really have to worry about what you do.
Right.
And that's.
And I never asked you, are you only spiders or do you also have like squigs and other things as well?
I have squigs. So when I went to Warhammer, the last Warhammer, I guess, back
Warhammer, he's talking about the tournament in Alberta. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. When I went to that tournament ran by Paul Ting in Calgary, that was all squigs. That was the old book. And I think I had 40 squig hoppers.
Nice.
2 manglers.
Hell yeah. I love
manglers. No bounders and a whole bunch of squig herd and a colossal squig.
Is that New Gitz book?
No.
Oh, really?
No, this was about 4 years ago. So.
Wow. Manglers were extra like they're not the best thing in the book, you know, but like yeah.
They weren't what they are now then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I've got a bunch of squigs. I sold most of that army off. I still have some squigs. I've got a whole bunch of trogs. What I was running before was actually spiders and trogs.
Nice. Oh yeah, I like that
because
then you've got an anvil that's killy, and then you've also got movement.
Yeah, so that list was basically 2 Dankold with a Dankold trog boss. I think I had 6 rock trogs, and then the rest was just a ton of spiders and Ragnaroks.
Heck yeah! Oh, I love it.
As far as wanting to give to talk, is it okay if I give a quick shout out to
Please, absolutely.
Northern Wastes is running annually now, so we've done it twice in a row. Next summer, I think probably end of August, like we did this year, is what our plan is for next year. It gets slightly bigger every year. We had 42 people this time. We're looking at maybe a different venue, but though that venue is real nice, we like it a lot. So we'll see what happens. I would like to put a special thanks to everybody that let that run. So that's everybody from the NWA Alliance, or the NWA guys that run it with me, which is Josh Trenholm, Robin Miller, Grayson Walker, Desmond Ing,
Ice Cube. Don't forget Ice Cube. Yeah.
The Justin Edinger for running the Golden Tree Man, which was the painting competition there. Raymond Clayton for running the display-based competition. There's just tons and tons and tons of names and sponsors that just did incredible for us. That and everybody from Alberta, everybody from Vancouver that came up. You guys made this tournament. Like this is the 20-man tournament without you guys. It was fabulous that you guys came.
And speaking of Golden Tree Man is coming to Kick or Death as well. The
Yes.
same guy that
Yes.
hosted us
right.
there. Yeah, it's coming down to Vancouver in February.
Yep.
If anyone wants to come and participate. I heard it was an awesome competition, so looking forward to seeing it in person.
Yeah. Yeah. The it was Eric and Alex that went last year, because there was a tournament like the same weekend or something like that down in Seattle, and like some of the people like Dale and them were close with the Dimensional Cascade guys in the Washington State area, and so but then when Eric came back with the freaking Viking horn trophy, like we all lost our minds. Like we straight up, that is the coolest trophy I've ever seen. Like that's way cooler and way more practical than a sword. Okay. Than like a J2 420 J2 stainless steel sword. Like who cares about that, right? You can't even sword fight with that.
Oh,
but with a drinking
you guys
horn.
told about the swag bags?
What's that?
Were you guys told about the swag bags?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah?
So
What?
one of the guys like custom made dice for everybody's factions.
Robin,
like,
the guy in chat right now.
Yeah, he
What?
handmade.
Yeah,
Like
so
a
I
whole
CAD
bunch of
designed some dice, and then he has a vacuum thing. He cast it and did a ton of work learning how to make dice.
Whoa.
There were tokens for everyone too, I think, right?
Yeah,
That were, like, burned onto
tokens and
wood.
widgets, and
Whoa.
Those are the only two things I remember. If there's more, then yeah, feel free to share.
I think there's like a Taps Games from Edmonton put a bunch of stuff in. We got like $20 gift certificate basically. There was just a bunch of stuff in that bag. So
Damn. That's fantastic.
we were pretty happy with those swag bags. So
No kidding. Robin making
The
custom
man.
dice. That's crazy. And there was like a
everyone.
bunch of different factions. It's not like you had 6 total factions and he's like, okay, I got to do this 6
Yep.
times.
every dice was pretty close to custom built for each player for the most part, themed around the faction you were running. Every person got a set of 6 wood burnt tokens that were their faction symbol. So whatever army you signed up with, that's the 6 tokens you got.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
How big
it was
were
fun.
How big were the dice?
Give me 1 second.
Sorry, I was curious because like I wasn't sure. I mean, maybe Robin might even be still in the chat, but I felt I lost the. Darren said he just spent his $20 from Taps. That's a game store.
Excellent.
A game store in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So ordinary, there we go. Ordinary like Chessex dice, Baron of dice, and us.
Whoa, that looks
So
like
they're 19 mil.
Robin. How?
So they're casino
Oh,
style.
not that Robin. Hey, man, killer. The other Robin, Robin Miller, not man killer. Dang. Wow, that looks like what, 18 inches or 18 millimeters, maybe 20?
No, they're 19 mils. They're
Oh,
casino
19.
style.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Eyeballs.
So-
Did you say that? I
They're if you, I don't know if you can actually see that
That's
or not. Probably not. But
amazing.
you'll notice the pips are all different size too. So these are about as fair as I could make these on CAD.
Wow.
So
That is so sick. Fine then, Mankiller says. Hey, it's like, I mean, my name's Rob, okay? Like, just imagine that growing up. Like,
oh, that must have been hard for you, Rob.
you know, well, my point was just that, like,
When I order food from places, I have to say I'm Colin.
oh, you're kidding. That's funny. I tried to rent a house out in Coquitlam, and I left a message on this guy's answering machine. My name's Rob Johnson, and he wouldn't phone me back. And then eventually I just kept calling him, and I was like, dude, I want to rent your house. Why aren't you calling me back? He's like, I'll never rent it to you. You're a piece of garbage. And he started yelling at me, and I was like, dude, we have never talked before. What are you talking about? He's like, you're Rob Johnson, right? And I'm like, yes, I'm Rob Johnson, but we have never talked before. Turns out like there's some kind of garbage human Rob Johnson running around the Lower Mainland who tries to rent houses, and it's just a piece, yeah. So it's not easy having a common name. There's a,
Fair. That's fair.
the grass is always greener, So, oh man, dude, what a treasure trove of information. I'd love to have you on again.
Anytime.
So you shouted out I might have interrupted the NWA shout out.
I think I got every.
Okay. I don't want to, I don't want to.
If I didn't, I love all of you, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just very tired.
No, and you were, before the show even, you were talking, you were just saying what a delightful group you have up there, and just saying how awesome everyone was, and how, anyway. So Northern Wastes happening again.
Oh, I do have one more.
Okay, please.
They would murder me if I missed this. Do you guys know the Dudes of Sigmar podcast?
Yep.
Okay, Dudes of Sigmar. Damon and Roma. I've known Damon, oh God, 20 something years now. So fun podcast, very fun. Check it out on wherever podcasts are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great shout out. I have, once I started making content, I started consuming like very little content. So I haven't had the pleasure yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. I've heard a lot of people talking about them recently. So, yeah.
I am on one of them where I was allowed to just relentlessly crap on Damon. So that's a good one to start.
Heck yeah. Well, if you will send me the link, I will put it in the description for people who are watching this later. And yeah, happy to shout them out. I'm sure they don't need any equity from me, but it's one big, that's what makes Age of Sigmar so much better than every other game. It is the community, and most people are just so fantastic. Awesome. Well, Carson, is there anything that I'm forgetting?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Covered everything, I think.
Cool. Awesome.
Everything. Literally everything.
Everything.
There's not one other thing that we could cover.
We figured out the last number for pi, the secrets of the universe and life.
It's cute.
Yeah. Both of those things. Thanks again to Conan for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Do you have any? I meant to ask you beforehand and then I forgot. Do you have any socials that you wanted to throw out there?
I don't.
Can people follow you anywhere?
I'm an old man, so I have Facebook. I don't. Twitter scares me, so I don't have it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
That's basically it. I don't have any much else of an online presence. So
are you in the Gloomspite Gitz Facebook group?
I thought I was, but I don't know if I left it or something, but I'm not in it anymore. So maybe
That's
I got
fair.
banned.
It's a pretty
I'm
good.
not sure.
I don't think so. I can't imagine.
I'll add it again. I just don't know why.
No worries. I just
wasn't
thought,
in it.
you know, if someone wanted to reach you and pick your brain or whatever.
I'm gonna
Oh.
once we're done here, I'm gonna hop back on there. You kind of reminded me, so
Heck yeah. And then I think you're on the BC Discord.
I am. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on Discord on
Cool.
that one under
Cool.
Gitz,
So you can find him in the BC Discord for Age of Sigmar. Pick his brain. One of the
My name
nicest
is
guys.
Giblets, Jibblets.
Heck yeah. Okay. Thanks again for coming on, man. It was a pleasure.
No problem at all.
And thanks again, as always, for Carson. I'm sorry it was a Gitz focused episode. You can get me back next week because I know less than you about corn.
That's fair.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for
Love
watching.
corn.
Appreciate you guys sticking around. Was that?
So I love corn. Love to eat.
I love, corn on the cob, on the barbecue. Cream corn, not so much, but mushrooms are better. And so are spiders. But thanks everyone for watching. And we'll see you guys next time.
Have fun, guys. Thanks so much for having me.